Bren reached into his trouser pocket and pulled out a watch. The room's silence amplified its steady ticking. It sounded like a knife on a chopping board, hacking the moments into seconds. Squinting in the gloom, Bren studied the watch. Its olive-green face, set within a simple golden bezel, matched its green strap. There was a round gap at the face's centre, which exposed the cogs working beneath the dial. Bren watched those golden ticking hands. Nearly 5 o'clock. He curled up on the mattress, put his ear to the watch, and closed his eyes. The ticking went on, lulling him softly. He could feel every tick, every tock, passing through his fingers, travelling up his arms, calming his heart. Tick, tock, tick, tock. And then he heard it. A muffled clacking. He opened his eyes. A section of carpet tightened before splitting with a soft tearing sound. It parted to reveal golden cogs spinning underneath. They were arranged in a broad ring, with each cog pulling carpet threads to make the tear even wider. A circle of wooden flooring lay exposed between the cogs. It opened up like the sliding shutter of a camera lens. Bright light and birdsong filled the room. The birdsong of Furthermoor. Part 2. The Monday Before. Chapter 2. Carrie. The trouble started with Carrie. Mrs. Sendak, head teacher at Williamsborough Academy, had introduced Carrie Yu the previous Monday. It was during Mr. Okorafor's Year 8 English class. Every eye in the room was on the new boy, but Carrie stood cheerily at the classroom door beside Mrs. Sendak, didn't shrink away, not like new pupils usually do. "Welcome to Williamsborough Academy, Carrie," said Mrs. Sendak, smiling mildly. "We had a British Chinese pupil finish here last year, and she did very well indeed. I'm sure you'll do our school proud." Carrie arched an eyebrow beneath his red-dyed fringe, then rolled his eyes in a way Mrs. Sendak couldn't see, which prompted sniggers from some of the students. Bren watched Carrie stroll towards an empty seat by the whiteboard. Though he was short, and perhaps a tad on the plump side, Carrie walked at full height, with his back straight, happily meeting the gaze of every student. He didn't seem fazed at all by the whispers and giggles from the back of the class. Bren glanced about the room, watching the other students. He saw Shaun tilting his close-cropped head, tracking Carrie as he crossed the room. Shaun's blue eyes were narrow and cold. Bren knew that look. Shaun was measuring up new prey. Shaun glanced suddenly at Bren, as if he'd sensed him watching. His lips curled into a sneer. Bren looked away. He should have been more careful, should have kept his head down. After Carrie got settled at his desk, Mr. Okorafor prompted a chorus of groans by setting a speed essay on George Orwell's Animal Farm. Hence the loud cheers when the bell finally rang for lunch. Pupils barreled by while Mr. Okorafor gathered up essays. Bren kept his eyes on his books as he packed them away, and waited for the worst of the rush to pass before skulking to the door. The corridor outside was busier than he'd expected. Caught by surprise, Bren lowered his head and veered away from the crowd that, rather than making for the school cafeteria, had gathered a few steps from English class. As keen as Bren was to get to the music room, curiosity got the better of him. Hugging himself into the smallest possible shape, he stopped by a wall display about Macbeth and lingered discreetly, keeping his distance from everyone else. Giggles and laughter erupted, and Bren saw Carrie at the centre of the crowd, grinning and gesturing busily with his hands. Carrie flicked his red fringe from his eyes.